Join me, friends, as I make some serious mistakes and learn some really cool lessons while I make this air dry clay bucket. Hey everybody, it's Colette with Blessings Craft Therapy, if you didn't know, and if you did, thank you so much for coming back. All right, so I start with some air dry clay. I got this at Michael's. You really have to work this stuff. I also have a bucket, and I sanded down the bucket. I think the bucket was probably from, I don't know, Dollar General. And so this is the clay. I keep putting a little water on it. I kind of roll it on a mat. I have a little, I don't know, I think this was a tool for fondant or something. And I roll it out and I measure it to my bucket and make sure that it is wide enough and long enough. And I take it off of my mat. I used a little craft stick to get it off. Next time I would probably use some cornstarch or something. But we wrap it around the bucket and we kind of, get the excess off the edges and really adhere it. Then I roll it on the table to make it nice and flat. Now I thought I was doing something here. I was like, I am slick. I am smart and creative. Woohoo! I am all those things, but in this case, I use the back of my brush and I'm just putting dots all the way around and I'm just alternating. See how the one dot goes in between the upper ones? I did this through the whole thing. I thought it would be really cool. It looks awesome. I love it. I thought it was going to be perfect until it dried and it cracked like nobody's business. Ah, it was so upsetting. But I wasn't giving up on it because it took me 3 days because it took a bit to dry. So I said, all right, that's it. We're going to take some Mod Podge and we're going to do a coat of Mod Podge on it. And I kind of did it with like a pouncing motion all around it. So I got into those little nooks and crannies and in the cracks. And I actually put a little bit more Mod Podge in the cracks just in hopes that it would do something. I don't know. This is it dry. Okay. I'm not so mad, but I decided, you know what, let's try and fix it a little bit better and put some homemade rub and buff on it. And that's what I'm doing here. And again, my rub and buff is just shoe polish and mica. That's all it is. This is actually, I think, a black Caranuba wax and a dark mica. But I went all over the outside of it and buffed it out. Wiped it. Hooray. I still wasn't happy though, because I was like, gosh, I invested a lot of time in this and effort. I thought, so I did some more rub and buff. This one was a different color to give it more of a yellow hue. I'm not mad. That doesn't look so bad. But then I was like, these cracks are really still there. And then I remembered that Japanese art, that broken pottery art that they do where they put it back together and then they put gold in all of the cracks. And next thing you know, I'm using this, by the way, is a gold chalk paint. I got it at, I think, Joann Fabrics. But all of a sudden I get all sorts of like, wow, leaning heavy into, you know what, I'm flawed. And yet I'm still okay. I'm still beautiful. I still have wonderful value. And that is what I thought was going to be a failure project, that's what it's going to represent for me. Every time I look at it, I'm going to remember I'm flawed, but I'm still usable. I'm flawed, but I'm still beautiful. I'm flawed, and God can still do something amazing with me, and he can do the same with you. Okay, there's that. Anyways, friends, thanks for watching, and I hope this inspires you.